Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, my name is Keelan and I wanted to make a video sharing some of the clips of low buy or no buy activities that we have done over the last week. My kids were off for Halloween, so we got out and about and did things together, and I tried to keep it as low cost or free as possible because I was finishing my no buy. And sorry, my dog is barking at something again, and I'm making coffee, so there's the fan and bubbling in the background. Yeah, but I'm just going to share the clips and I hope you enjoy it, and I will see you soon. So while we were at the Mac, I took my kids to an event that they have on at the minute. It's like an interactive exhibition called Wiggle Room, and it's free entry and it's really designed for kids, and they really enjoyed it. They had these like stickers on the floor, and if you step on them it does different things on the screen, and each of the kind of clusters of like bubbles that you can see is one of them. So you can make yourself like bigger or make yourself shrink. You can like move the bubbles around. You can like add in extra objects, and I thought it would be a kind of in and out in 2 minutes sort of activity, but they were entertained by this for a really long time, and actually like in the end I had to kind of convince them to leave. And then we walked into town since we were already kind of there, and we did some of the free trail where you have to find the inflatable monsters that were kind of hidden in places throughout town. We didn't find all of them because we kind of ran out of time, but it was like a good way to keep the kids interested while we were walking around, and you didn't have to pay anything to do it, which was a benefit, and it just was like a nice little Halloween themed thing to do together. I think my kids were more impressed with the ones that were actual like monsters rather than just tentacles kind of poking out of buildings. And here we're just walking back towards where we parked, and we passed some street art, and then I remembered this could be a good free activity to do, to wander and look at street art. And we went to Castle Ward, which is a National Trust property. This was where we did the free Halloween trail, and it was like an interactive one for kids, so they got to do lots of activities along the way. It wasn't just like looking at things and then moving on, which they liked too, but my kids did say that they liked the fact that they could actually get involved. They had to make a mane for a unicorn, dig in this coffin for jewels, and there was like archery. They had to climb through like little spider webs, and they had to like feed balls to these like hungry cats. And there was a dragon. They had to throw these little money bags into its nest for it, and it just made the walk much more exciting. They would probably normally complain about that walk because it's on a hill and it's quite long, but they didn't even seem to notice it. I made some chocolate chip cookies at home. They're already gone, everyone's eaten them, and I've just been working on trying to declutter my space and make it cozy for the winter. And we went to the Fine and Dandy market, which I had mentioned in my last video, which was also free entry, although how free it is depends on how much you buy once you're there. Then we went to Botanic Gardens and we had a look for conkers. Sadly there weren't any there, but it still looked really nice. This is a dish made by Frugal Mom. I love it. It's so easy. It's just like pork with soy sauce, ketchup, marmalade and garlic in the slow cooker, and it's delicious with rice. And here I am sewing the patch I got at the market onto a shirt that I have. I decided to put it like kind of where the pocket would go, and I just think it's a really positive message, and I just like the fact it makes it unique, especially because I got it from like a high street shop, and sometimes I don't like doing that because I feel like everybody has it and you could be walking down the street and pass like a million people wearing the same thing, but this is a way to make it yours and make it more unique. And I just love sewing by hand as well. Like I do like using my sewing machine, but I find sewing by hand really like relaxing, and it's just, it quietens your mind, and yeah, it's a good activity that doesn't involve spending any money, and you can use things that you already have at home. And I think I might make some more patches like this, because even though I don't know how to do lino prints, I could do it with fabric pens, or at least try to, and see how it goes. And it's just a really good way to personalize your own clothes. And let me know if you have any quiet kinds of crafts that you like to do and how you learnt them below, and just share any ideas that you might have. I feel like I figured out sewing mostly by myself. Like, I was shown how to do basic sewing as a young kid, but I don't feel like I paid a huge amount of attention, and I didn't do it like regularly enough to actually learn how to do it. My mum showed me how to thread a sewing machine and kind of got me started with that, but before that I was doing a lot of hand sewing, and I've just always really enjoyed it, and it just like enables you to do so many things with your clothes. And just, I love repairing things too, so it means I don't have to throw something out or pay someone a lot of money if I need to fix something. There are so many crafts I would love to be able to do, but I feel like there's only so much time to do them. So this was whenever I'd finished sewing the patch on, and I'm just showing you the final results. I'm happy with it and I'm wearing it today, and I just think it makes it a bit more individual. And then after that I decided to paint. I have put off painting for a long time, and I recently just kind of reactivated the items on my Etsy shop. I want to get back into doing it just for the joy of it, and I really miss it actually, and I've been feeling kind of in a creative slump for a while, so YouTube has really helped me get out of that, and I just want to get back into doing these kind of satisfying things at home that fill the time but in a really like positive way. And I've just been working on a painting of Alexandria in Egypt, and I like to take a photo of a place and sort of make it my own and take the like basic elements of it, but just like focus on colour. And I just find painting is a really low cost activity to do. Also, because everybody knows in my household that I love to do it, I tend to get bought acrylic paints for birthdays and Mother's Day and things like that, so I haven't actually had to pay for any paints in a while. And I have sketchbooks already like in the cupboard, so I don't need to buy anything like that. And I think there's a misconception that we have to like invest in really expensive craft supplies to do a craft properly, but the acrylic paints that I've been getting like the whole time I've been painting are really cheap, and I have never noticed anything bad from that. Like, I'm sure there is a difference between something really low end and high end, but if there is, I've never noticed it. There was a time years ago when I went to a painting class and we had to buy specific supplies for it before going from an art store, and when I used the paints at the class, like, I didn't notice a difference. So I just think that like it's better to just get what's affordable for you. And I use old jam jars for cleaning brushes, they're really handy for that. And I just get cheap paint brushes too, like as long as they're not the very very cheap ones that I find to be almost like, what's the word? Okay, the word I'm looking for is bristly. As long as they're quite soft and like flexible, and like you have different sort of shapes and sizes for doing different kinds of strokes, I think that that's all you really need. And if you want to get palette knives and things like that, you can do it cheaply too. Like, in the end of the day, it's just like a plastic knife, so you could even use like just whatever plastic knife you happen to have at home. I like to improvise whenever I'm doing art and not run out and buy loads of like expensive supplies. You can use what you have on hand. I do find that regular paper doesn't work for acrylic paints because it sort of leaks through the page. It's like it's too heavy for it. But you could always use like cardboard and just use like materials you have lying around, or use wood. I had a friend who did like acrylic painting on earrings made of like very thin wood, and it worked really well. So yeah, it's just like about using what you have and remembering to go through what you have so that stuff doesn't get lost and you know what's already there. And to just get started and not stall with things, because I think it's easy to make excuses for ourselves so we don't have to begin what we want to do. But you can just work with what you already have on hand, or get very cheap things like nearby. So I want to keep up the practice of painting regularly, and I'm really not happy, as always, with this painting. Usually when I'm painting something, I don't like it, and I can only really appreciate it a long time after if I look back at it and I'm kind of a bit detached from it. But I feel like with this painting, it's a getting back into painting one, so it doesn't have to be really good, and I'm just getting used to doing it again because I feel a bit rusty and out of practice. So yeah, I'm not going to be hard on myself about this, but yeah, painting and drawing and things like that, journaling, anything with your hands, I find are generally low cost activities and a good way to pass the time. And I ended up painting for about 2 hours. This was the first day my kids were back to school, so I had a bit more time, and my partner was off work and he was just resting because he hurt his back, so it kind of gave me a good chance to do it. And like, that 2 hours went by so quickly, and I think that that's a good sign you're enjoying yourself, when time just kind of disappears and you're surprised after that you actually spent so long on something. And I find the more time I spend at home doing activities that I have that are already there, the less time I have to run about spending money like out and about in the shops for no good reason. And at the end, of course, I had to reward myself with a cookie break. Yes, I'm eating a cookie with a fork. It's because I hated it and it all kind of like just fell apart, and it was like impossible to lift. And here is the painting so far. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye.